Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network. Welcome to Gun Sports Radio, all about shooting, hunting, self-defense, and more. Now, here are the hosts of Gun Sports Radio, Dave Stahl and Lance Pelkey.
All right, folks, welcome to The Answer, FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. This is Gun Sports Radio. Tell your friends about us if you haven't done it already. This is show 110, and we want to thank Gun Sports Gun Range San Diego for all their support. 7853 Balboa Avenue, San Diego, 10 to 10, 7 days a week, 858-573-1911. Go to gunrangesandiego.com for all of your gun needs, whether it be ammo, training, you want to go shoot some guns you've never shot before. They love brand new shooters. They will treat you like family, and that's the whole key, because there's some ranges out there that are a little bit, if you're not, don't have about 4 or 5 years under your belt, they're not as happy to see you as you would think. But you won't find that at Gun Range San Diego. I call it the Nordstrom's of gun ranges, just not the price. Hey, Lance, what's kicking?
Well, we got Mr. Schwartz killing crappie in Wisconsin.
Well, actually, he's at a football game now. He's got his black markers under his eyes.
Is that what it was?
He's got that growl on his face.
Oh, man.
And his wife is looking at him like, seriously?
Green Bay Packers.
Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, so...
loving every bit of it. You're loving every bit of it.
Yeah. So we got a huge show today. So we're fortunate enough to have Joe Drammissi, San Diego County gun owners, amazing writer for the group. Right. I love reading Joe's stuff. Mm-hmm. And also sitting to my right for the folks who could see me on radio, Joel Anderson, Senator from California.
Absolutely.
Senator Anderson.
It's great to be here.
Came off the Hill just to see us.
Rolled down to see us today and talk about all those fun gun laws and whatever else we can come up with.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy out there, too, boy, let me tell you. But there is, like you said, there is a heck of a lot happening in the gun world right now. So why don't we go right straight to Joel, unless you have another idea.
Well, let's see. Drammissi was talking. What were you talking about?
Yeah, you do have him down here to chat.
Okay, well, I could chat here. Which did you want to talk about here? Well, the gun law that we're just talking about?
Adding on the CCW time.
Yeah, there was a... something that went to the governor's desk, I'm not sure if it's signed yet, from Assemblyman Gloria, adding a requirement for people that want concealed carry. They want to add an 8-hour training requirement, and they want to do that statewide. The way the law is now, the state requires training, but they leave it up to the local authority. So in our case, it's up to the sheriff. And in San Diego County, the sheriff already requires 8 hours of training. So it won't really have any impact on people in San Diego.
Sure won't be 16? I know how the state works.
Yeah, and the state says it can be up to 16, but no more than 16. So Gloria's specific legislation, I think, says 8 hours.
Yeah.
But he's mandating it from the state, or the state would mandate it. Gotcha. The way it is now, San Diego County, our sheriff says we have to do 8 hours, but other counties probably don't have that kind of a thing. It's up to the local sheriff. So anyway, that was one of the things we were talking about a little bit earlier. I don't know if, Joel, are you familiar with that one, or what was going on with that?
Well, I am. It went to the governor's desk. We've sent a letter to the governor asking for a veto. And what it does is it makes all 58 counties lose local control. Some of these areas are rural. These people use weapons in the course of their business, in the course of just hunting in their backyard. So to have the same standards and rules for them as we do for downtown L.A. or downtown San Diego is not necessary.
See, and that's the same kind of thing that happened. If you remember I think it was November last year, where the state took away the authority of the local school districts to allow people to be armed on campus if they thought it was right for them. Because again, the whole thing about when we talk about school shootings and arming teachers or staff or anything like that, it's something that should be on the table. It should be up to the local district working with local law enforcement in their local community. It may be right in some areas. It may not be right in other areas, but it should be left to the locals to figure that out. And now that's been taken away as of last year.
Absolutely. When you look at Central Valley, it is so different. Those communities are small communities. They don't look anything like Los Angeles. They don't look anything like San Diego or San Francisco. And they should have the ability to determine for themselves what's in their own best interest. And yet Sacramento insists on knowing better.
Sounds like they steamrolled right over them.
Yep,
basically.
absolutely.
Well, the word that pops into my mind is arbitrary. And that's the problem with, our government, whether it's local, state, or federal, is they try to make these arbitrary rules. What's good for one is good for everybody. But just like Senator Anderson is saying, that's not the case. That's why it's important that we stand behind people like him to make sure that we get people who are making these laws understand that what's good for District A might not be so good for District B.
One size does not fit all.
Well,
absolutely,
we know they just want to take away the guns at the end of the day,
right? Well, it's all when it comes to guns, when it comes to Second Amendment, it's all arbitrary anyway, because it's all just about trying to circumvent the Constitution to take away our rights as citizens for the Second Amendment.
Touchdown.
Absolutely,
that's where it's at.
Well, yeah. So what? So where are we at this? You sent the letter in to get him to veto it. What do you think the chances?
But
of
it's one of over 100 letters I've sent in, and
you're a poor assistant.
Do you get
your little fingernails must be to the bone?
Well, sometimes when the governor vetoes, he uses the argument in the veto that we send him, so that then we know that he read the letter and he actually applied it. But if nobody sends letters opposing. Right. They're pitching a shutout. So we all should be sending letters, not just the legislators.
We have, in here locally, we have a great mayor over in Coronado, youngest mayor in this area, yada, yada, yada. And remember, he was in here not too long ago, and we talked about, hey, what's a good turnout for your citizens at one of your town hall meetings? And he was like, well, if we get 3 to 5, we really think that the community's involved.
Yeah.
So you got to send lots and lots of letters, because if not, like you said, you're pitching a shutout.
Right. And what's really frustrating is sometimes when you look at a bill and you know that bill is not a good bill, but nobody has sent a letter of opposition. And yet the people that are pushing the bill may have 500 letters in support of it. But if it's not a pivotal issue like the Second Amendment, where you fundamentally know black from white and right from wrong, it's hard. It's hard to make those decisions because you count on the arguments and the letters to help you understand the issue better. So it's really important that everybody fire off a letter to the governor's office. In fact, if they contact my office, we'll tell them exactly where to send it and tell the governor how you feel.
Is it a letter or email? It has just
email can work, but they just need to have their voice on record.
Okay.
If he gets tens of thousands of these, he knows this is a hot button
So
issue.
how do they contact your office to get that assistance?
If you just Google Joel Anderson, it pops right up. I have an office in El Cajon, one in San Marcos, and one in the Capitol. But we're always trying to get ordinary citizens activated, fighting for their own civil rights.
Well,
and this is a super hot issue.
Maybe the reason we're not getting the return is the simplicity of writing a letter. Because a lot of people probably sit home saying, well, I don't really know how to write a letter. I mean, I can say I don't like it. But so I don't know if you're allowed to do this. Michael Schwartz did it and made a letter that you could download, sign it, and just send it in. It was all written properly. Do you have something like that on your website, or are you even allowed to do that?
No, sometimes we do. We don't do it necessarily that way. We say, hey, sign on to my letter. So my letter's there.
Oh, I got you.
So then people go ahead and they submit their name, and we just add them on to the list of names. When we had the Sanctuary State Bill, we collected over 60,000 signatures that I actually turned in. And let people know that we didn't want
I think
Sanctuary State.
Then that really simplifies the process in my world. Because all I know now is that if you tell us, because I get your emails all the time. Thank you very much over there. And, and if I know you're reaching out saying, hey, I need you guys all sign up, I think that would make a big impact on your letter signing.
Well, sometimes I agree, and we try to do that. But when you look at the number of gun bills,
I know,
we can't just do it on every one. Now, we're sending off letters all the time, but that'd be a lot of web space for me to have every one of. We'll have close to 200 letters that we'll send on key issues like the Second Amendment, asking for those vetoes and laying out arguments.
Yeah.
But it's as simple as Dave sending, Dear Governor Brown,
no on this.
I'm asking for a veto because it hurts my Second Amendment rights.
Wow. And I think we
don't have to go into a lot of detail.
Yeah.
It's just the sheer volume that they receive. They realize, hey, wait a minute.
And can you get all the email addresses off your site?
Sure.
To Governor Brown?
We can arrange for all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Because, I hate to say it, but it's all about simplicity. When you make it so simple, there's no reason not to do it.
I agree, but half the battle is simply showing up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth.
You can make it as easy as can be. If people don't show up, it doesn't get done.
I know. We should give a card to everybody that shows up. Any car you want. I don't care. Hey, we're going to take a small break. You folks are listening. Oh, wait a minute. I think I've got an out. I got to keep remembering that. Our good buddies at Triton Gunsmithing. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh.
How could I fit TritonGunsmithing.com? TritonGunsmithing.com. Getting ready for the hunting season. That's where you need to be. 858-577-0576. TritonGunsmithing.com. All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. This is Gun Sports Radio. We are FM 96.1 and AM 1170. You can find us anywhere you want. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a firearm or a taser as a weapon for personal protection? Great. But what would you do or are you going to get a CCW? But what would you do if you got into an incident? What if you got pulled over and all of a sudden lawyers need to get involved? Well, that can be pretty expensive. So why don't we do this? Go spend $10 a month with firearmslegal.com. That's $10 a month. Not a day, not a week, a month. Firearmslegal.com. Or you can call them at 469-310-9100. Trust me, take all the pressure off owning a gun and keeping yourself out of trouble. Remember, firearmslegal.com. By the way, before we bring John Dillon on, from Gatsky, Dillon & Balance, LLP, www.cafirearmslaw.com. Joel's very efficient assistant, Maggie, was nice enough to straighten the boss out. So it is easy to get your name on a letter.
She's way ahead of me.
Totally.
All you have to do is go to my website, you click one button, and then you oppose all the gun bills, and you only have to put your name in once.
Perfect.
So they have made it as simple as possible. They're way ahead of me.
That's what I thought. But the guy coming up next is the same kind of guy. He is so organized, he doesn't even need an assistant. And that would be John Dillon from Gatsky, Dillon & Balance, LLP. How's it going, brother?
That's not true. I have to have an assistant, and I have one.
You got one at home. You got one at work.
I would be absolutely lost without one.
He is the assistant at home, and then he has one at work.
Yeah. You're so funny. So, hey, Lance.
Good, guys. How are you?
Lance says, I don't know if John's calling in. It's sunny out. What does that mean?
Yeah, I got to enjoy the nice weather when I can, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, that's called honeydews.
Yeah, he might have thought I was maybe trying to get another hunt in.
Yeah, you should.
Uh-huh. That's what we were thinking.
Yep, I wish I could, but I'm not hunting until next month, unfortunately. Yeah. But, so yeah, I've been listening in, and I know you guys have been talking about these bills are on the governor's desk to be signed or vetoed, hopefully. And I'll just tack on in the sense that you can also go to Firearms Policy Coalition. They also have a easy fill-in-the-blank form. You sign your name and send it in to voice your opposition on all of these bills. But have we gone into specifics of all of them, or what have we done so far?
They're waiting for you.
Yeah, we're waiting for you.
All right. So, the really big ones would be SB 1177. Now, this limits firearm purchases to one every 30 days. So, if you go and buy a home defense shotgun for the bedside, and you also want to buy a handgun or even another rifle to, go shooting at the range and, enjoy yourself, you'll have to wait a month in between purchases because the state of California believes by limiting one handgun per month, they are limiting the proliferation of possible illegal firearms entering the commerce. Don't know how they really plan to do that, since most of the illegal guns that are used in crimes are stolen firearms. But, so that's one of them. Another big one would be AB 2888, which expands the gun violence restraining orders and allows coworkers, employers, and school employees to be able to file a gun violence restraining order against people. This is essentially a turn your neighbor in law. You're fighting with your neighbor because, they play loud music or something's going on, and all of a sudden they realize that you own a firearm, and they don't like you, so they can just, call on in, get a gun violence restraining order, say that you've made a threat and that you own a firearm, and you'll have police knocking on your door. This is a wholly unconstitutional law that just absolutely dismantles due process.
And what was that number again?
That's AB 2888. And again, this goes into all sorts of stuff. It crosses over with the 5150 mental health hold. If your kid's at school, you got a high school kid, he breaks up with his girlfriend, bad comments are made about himself or the girl or something, someone from the school can call all of a sudden, and now all of a sudden your guns are confiscated because someone said something you knew nothing about. And these aren't made up hypotheticals. I've dealt with things and cases just like that.
Wow.
That's the horse's mouth.
Yeah, another big one that is, just amazing that they'd even try to go this far is SB 1100. And that is the prohibition or the banning sales of firearm or ammo to anyone under 21 years old. I mean, this, if you want to talk about just flatly on its face unconstitutional, this is a law that is banning the ability to purchase a firearm to adults. We're talking about 18, 19, and 20. You're legally an adult. You have all the legal rights of an adult. And this law is trying to strip those rights without any due process, without any type of investigation, without any type of criteria. If you're 18, 19, 20-year-old single mom, single parent, person working, living on your own, that's 20 years old, you will not have the ability to purchase a firearm to defend yourself. It's a horrible piece of legislation. It's a virtue signaling, POS, just horrible law.
Wow.
And it was made in response to the shooting in Florida. Apparently,
Sure.
that shooter was under 18. But it's been proven again and again that none of these laws would have ever stopped any of the most recent shootings from happening. So, again, it is a unconstitutional law that is truly meant to strip the rights of California citizens, disguised as a way to keep people safe when there's absolutely no evidence to support that claim.
Wow. Hey, John, Joe had a question.
Well, yeah. I was just going to say that, I don't know if you were listening to us earlier, but that just brings up the term arbitrary again. They're making an arbitrary rule based on one event, that affects everyone. And what I used to say is, we've gotten to this point in our society where one person poops their pants and now I have to wear a diaper. And it's just, it's unconstitutional.
It's because it's the public safety doctrine here that we're dealing with. To advance the public safety, the state's police powers, they need to protect everyone. It's one thing happened one time, and this is the method the state uses to just, flatly strip of their rights. And it's the decision that people have to make that, the state can, quote unquote, make us all safe if they control every aspect of everything we do in our daily lives. We can reduce car accidents and car fatalities by limiting cars from going over 25 miles per hour. However, that would be an absurd concept to anyone trying to propose that. It's the same stuff with these gun laws. They are absurd. In any other topic or category, these types of, virtue signaling laws would not be accepted. And they are when it comes to the Second Amendment because it's the forgotten stepchild of rights.
I can't remember if it was Thomas Paine or Ben Franklin who said, if you sacrifice liberty for a little security, you deserve neither. And that's a true story.
And truly, when you go down to it and break it down, the people who own firearms, who use firearms, who believe that they should be able to use firearms for self-defense, generally speaking, these are independent, I'll do it myself, I take care of myself type people. They don't want to rely on others, and especially the government, as a part of their daily lives. And when the government is saying that, no, we know better, we're going to keep you safe, so you don't don't buy more than one gun a month. And if you're 20 years old, we know better. We can determine whether or not you're safe to own a firearm, and it's just wrong. There's no other way to cut it. And truly, people need to pay attention that these are getting passed in California. And with Governor Brown, this is his last term, and he's leaving. So it'll be very interesting which ones he signs and which one he vetoes. This is he's vetoed similar stuff in the past, but again, he's vetoed something one year and then approved it the very next year. So there's no guarantee that he's not going to sign these, no matter how unconstitutional they might be.
Right.
And remember, you got elections coming up for governor in California, and one of the primary candidates is Gavin Newsom. This is a man who straight up does not believe citizens should own firearms. He will, if he becomes governor, he will sign every piece of gun control legislation that comes to his desk, regardless of how absurd it is.
Yeah, if you think Moonbeam Brown is bad, wait till Gavin Newsom's sitting in that chair.
I know, it's terrible.
This is truly a time that people need to stop talking on the internet about how horrible the laws are. They actually need to start paying attention to what laws are getting passed, and they need to start, actually submitting their voice in opposition and working to stop these types of laws from passing.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Did you have a question, Joel?
Well, I was just going to say SB 1100. That targets long guns. I mean, we're not talking. I mean, that whole bill says that essentially that 18 to 21-year-olds can't have a long gun. So, how do you go hunting? I mean, this is absolutely nuts.
It's totally nuts.
Yeah, well, there is an exception if you get a hunting license. But again, now they've just done a backdoor licensing requirement to own a firearm in California by doing that. And again, it's absurd. If you're an adult, you get all the rights of an adult. I get my First Amendment right, my Second Amendment right, my third, fourth, fifth, down the line. It does not matter.
You can carry that same weapon
or 20.
As a Marine to defend our liberty, of which you cannot partake.
I know. Isn't that insane?
Exactly. And frankly, I'm of the belief that if you're 18, you're an adult, you have no prior felonies, mental health issues, anything like that on your record, you should be able to buy a handgun too, because you are an adult.
Yep.
And that is, I'm sorry, but handguns are the foundation of self-defense under the Second Amendment, according to D.C. v. Heller. So this is just a gross overstep.
Yeah. Well, we just got to quit taking military kids in unless they're 21. Simple.
There you go.
Let them see to try to get that happening. All right, John. Thank you very much, folks. That's cafirearmslaw.com, cafirearmslaw.com. Check him out or call him at 760-431-9501. All right, folks. Hey, you frustrated by the new California laws for AR? Well, looking for a cost-effective, easy solution? Cali Key. That's the way to go. CALIKEY.com. That's CaliKey.com. Check these guys out. Make sure you tell them you heard it right here on Gun Sports Radio. And coming up, Hollywood in the house. Stay tuned. This is FM 96.1, AM 1170. The Answer. Folks, hey, welcome back. This is Gun Sports Radio right here on AM 1170. Whoops. The new one is FM 96.1 AM 1170. We are intelligent conservative. The Answer.
Don't forget the new one, Dave.
I know, it's right there. Hey, folks, Trident Gunsmithing. You ever been to Trident Gunsmithing? Well, if you haven't, you're missed out. The place is awesome. And if you're kind of into old guns, they have a phenomenal collection of black powder and cowboy guns and all kinds of cool stuff. So go to TridentGunsmithing.com. Check out their website and call them at 858-577-0576. And they are your true connection for gun repairs, upgrades, and more. All right, we got the Gun Range San Diego, Hollywood in the house, 7853 Balboa Avenue in San Diego, 10 to 10, 7 days a week. That's the GunRangeSanDiego.com. They have been with us since day one, and we truly, truly appreciate it. So let's find out what Hollywood's got for us today, because all I see are question marks.
That's usually what I see every time I open my eyes.
That's kind of what I thought, too.
Just question marks every day. Now, we get phone calls all the time, from people calling into Gun Range San Diego, and they're like, hey, do you have a 100-yard range or a 50-yard range? And it only goes out to 25 yards. And we understand that the shooting community is, we're a part of it. We like our partners out there, so we will guide people to Lemon Grove out in Alpine or to South Bay down in Del Sur if they want to shoot that 200-300-yard range or whatever, or even up in Pala, 800 yards. But what a lot of people don't understand is bullet trajectory. What people don't understand is when that bullet, especially in the most popular rifle in America, which is the AR style, the sporting rifle, the 223, the 5.56, when that bullet leaves the barrel, it starts to rise before it goes down, just because of bullet trajectory. It has pitch, it has yaw, and because the bullet is spinning, it starts to rise up a little bit. So believe it or not, at 25 yards, which is why we put our range at 25 yards, at 25 yards, that is the same impact you would have with that same rifle at 300 yards. So don't get discouraged if you're local range, and even if you're up in North County, you don't want to drive all the way down to Gun Range San Diego. If your local gun range only goes out to 25 yards, don't be discouraged. Get what we call a reduced silhouette target or a reduced target, something a little bit smaller, maybe the size of a silver dollar, and aim in at that, because that is going to be the same impact area as you would have at 300 yards because of the way that the bullet trajectory works in those AR rifles. And it's not hard to do, especially if you get like a 16-inch barrel. Yeah. I mean, it works out just perfect. In fact, when we teach military guys, most people who listen to the show know that's what I do for a full-time job. As I train as a government contractor after being in the Marine Corps for 25 years or 22 years. I train the military now on special weapons and tactics, and we use iron sights. We teach all the fundamentals on iron sights, no red dots, no magnification, anything like that. Because if you can't understand the fundamentals on basic iron sights, then you're not going to truly understand or be able to get the full effect out of any type of magnification or red dot or anything like that. And when you set up your rifle for what's called zeroing, there's on your rear sight elevation there's a 6/3. And the 6/3 stands for 300 yards or 600 yards. And you set it for 300 yards, and then you shoot at 25 yards, and your impact's going to be the exact same.
Now, what's an iron sight versus what?
Well, iron sight is just your basic, steel,
made out of iron.
Steel front sight post and adjustable rear sight aperture.
Gotcha.
Versus like a scope or something that's magnified or a red dot or a holographic or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so don't be discouraged. Go out there, shoot. Go to your 25-yard ranges. Put that target all the way out to the 25-yard. Put your target at the bottom of the cardboard as low as it will hang, and whatever target apparatus that particular range has, and really hone your skills into there and try to get 10 shots the size of a dime, before you start complaining that, it's only 25 yards. I need to be shooting further because, I got this awesome rifle I just spent so much time and money on. Well, if you can't put 10 shots together in the size of a dime at 25 yards, you might want to hold off before you go to 100, 200, 300, because that's going to be your 300-yard shot anyway.
That's interesting. I had never known that. I'd never known that.
Yeah, so you got the rise and the fall, and we got, it is the most popular rifle, in America, the sporting rifle, which we talked about the history a couple of weeks ago, and we have a ton of them down there at the gun range San Diego. You come down there, we can set you up from anything from the basic, mil-spec style rifle that's going to run you around $700, and we can put you all the way out to something that, that if you really wanted to get really good and shoot out to 1,000 yards or whatever, we can set you up with that too.
Well, I would assume if somebody went to a longer, like 100 yards, and you weren't proficient at 25, you'd be really bummed at 100.
For sure.
Because you're not going to hit nothing.
Right. So you got to get so there's three types of zeros. You have your true zero, your basic zero, and then what's called your battle size zero. And everybody thinks that BZO is the way to go. BZO stands for battle size zero. So you have your true zero. Basically, all of whether it's optics or iron sights, whatever, everything can be zeroed out. Meaning the front sight post is set factory, the rear sight elevation factory, rear sight aperture left to right factory, where it's all set at zero, and that's a basic zero for the rifle. And then you get the shooter zero. So now what we do is you get in a really good shooting position in the prone, preferably, and you fire 2 or 3 shots, and then you check your grouping, you make adjustments as necessary. You fire 2 or 3 more shots, do the same thing again, then you fire 2 or 3 more, and if you have confidence in your shooting, you make bold movements, you can get what's called your true zero, the shooter's zero. And that means that you should be able to pick up that gun at any time, anywhere, go to factory zero, look at your little sheet, say my zero under perfect conditions is front sight post down 2 clicks, the rear sight aperture left 2 clicks, and and now that's my zero. And then you can base off of, and then I go out to 100 yards or 300 yards, whatever, on an outdoor range, and I can check the value of the wind. Okay, the wind's moving it from left to right at 5 miles an hour. So according to my data book, that means I need to make 4 clicks on my rear sight aperture, and I'm still on target no matter what.
Interesting.
And then you have what's called your battle size zero. So for guys in the military, they don't just go out in T-shirts and blue jeans or whatever. They actually have to go out in what we call the full battle rattle: helmet, plates, extra gear, all that stuff. And so what happens is now maybe that's why we came out with the adjustable stock on the AR style, the M4 style rifle anyway, because now I got
all this gear.
Yeah, I got 2 inches of plates on my chest. I'm not going to get the same stock weld or same eye relief on that rifle that I got sitting in a nice range with my T-shirt. So I'm going to have to adjust the stock a little bit, move it around, something like that. So now that's going to change my point of aim and point of impact a little bit. And so then that's where we get the battle size zero from.
And you keep this all in a little book?
Well, you should. Like when I was in, it depends on the service. Like Marines are very particular about our rifles. When I got issued a rifle, I had that rifle for years and years and years. Like I knew the serial number. It was mine. That's the rifle I got every time, no matter what. I was responsible for it. And I actually had my data scribbled on a piece of paper and taped to the side of the magazine well.
Right.
And so I knew my data always. My
you
zero.
never had to go look for it.
Right. My zero, my true zero, and my battle sight zero.
Interesting.
And so it's just something that we, it's just basic math that you can do, and it always kept me on target. But you got, some services just don't, that shooting is their secondary deal. I love the Navy. I love training these guys, but
it's not their primary.
Right, it's not their primary deal. An engineer on a submarine they could care less what a rifle is. So they don't get issued a rifle like the Marines do. So they should really even work harder at maintaining that information, knowing okay, this is what I shoot normally. This is what I shoot under perfect conditions, and then if I ever have to put on a vest or gear or anything like that to stand and watch, then I know I need to adjust.
They got torpedoes.
Well. And submarines is probably a bad example.
Yeah, I was just going to say
because they use shotguns.
Yeah,
they shoot shotguns on submarines.
Really?
Yeah,
that'd rattle around inside a shot. Well, that'd be hurt the ears.
Well, it'll clear a doorway, hallway real quick, fast and in a hurry.
Yeah.
You get down on the submarine.
golly, not me. I'm not getting that.
I have a quick question for you. So when you're on the 25 yards, are you standing and firing? Or are you in a prone position, or how does that work?
Well, you want to if you're trying to get your BZO, if you're trying to really get into the most precise shooting you can get, you want to be in the most stable shooting position you can be in, which is the lower you are to the ground, the more stable you're going to be. So the prone is absolutely the most stable and mathematically accurate shooting position you can be in. But, then they say kneeling is after that and then standing. But me as a shooter, I shoot better in the standing than I do in the kneeling. I just can't get comfortable in the kneeling. I can't get a good base. But in the prone, I'm
perfect.
I'm perfect, sincerely. Yeah. And then in the standing, I'm better than I am in the kneeling.
Wow. All right, folks. That was Hollywood from Gun Range San Diego. We want to thank them for sending him out. Hey, by the way, are you frustrated by the new California law for ARs? Looking for a cost-effective, easy solution that will allow you to keep your AR featureless and yet you still are compliant? Well, Cali Key is the answer. Easily convert your AR to be California compliant in just 2 minutes. Keep your entire collection intact at a price you can afford. Check out the new Cali Key and the future-proof your AR from future gun laws. Go to CaliKey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. All right, this is FM 96.1 AM 1170. The Answer. We'll be back in a moment. Gun Sports Radio. Folks, hey, welcome back. This is Gun Sports Radio right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170. Intelligent Conservative. Yes, we are the answer. Hey, do you or any of your family keep a firearm or other weapons for personal protection? Do you have or are you going to get a CCW? Well, if you're involved in any kind of an incident that involves your weapons, what is your plan to pay for bail, lawyer fees, all of the above? Well, hey, do like we do. Join Firearms Legal Protection. For less than $10 a month, you will have peace of mind knowing a 24-hour hotline and legal representation is waiting for you and your family. That's Firearms Legal Protection at www.firearmslegal.com or give them a call at 844-357-9400 or just go to the site at firearmslegal.com and make sure you tell them the gang at the radio station sent you. Okie dokie, Smoky. So we've got sort of open mic. Who wants to go first?
So we were talking at the break about with Joe about your the cowboy deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the things, something else you can get at the gun range San Diego, something I picked up over there, was I just picked up a replica 1873 lever action rifle by Uberti, and got a great deal at the gun range San Diego. And shooting the lever action guns, I mean the gun that won the West basically. And for me, being raised on the classics like El Dorado and Rio Bravo, I had to have one of those. And it was pretty much all I could do not to get the John Wayne loop on the thing. I chickened out at the last minute, but I may add that later. But a lot of fun to shoot. I was hitting things out at 100 yards the first time out with it with the iron sights, which was just very satisfying, a lot of fun to do. But something else I got to do this weekend was a friend of mine's been hounding me to go watch them do the cowboy action shooting, which they do in his particular group. He shoots with the Escondido Banditos.
There you go.
And they shoot up at the Escondido Fish and Game range.
Was he all done up?
And
dressed up?
If you haven't seen that before, they're a lot of fun. The people, they shoot shotguns, they shoot rifles, they shoot handguns. They're all period. So some of it's black powder, some of it's not. There was cap and ball there. And they dress up. So everybody, it looks like Tombstone, essentially. There's men, there's women, there were young people, older people, and they have aliases, so they have different names. The other thing that was a lot of fun, aside from watching everyone shoot, is they have carts. And we see this, I shoot other matches, USPSA matches, and people have golf carts and wagons and things to carry all their gear. With the cowboy matches, the carts are period. They're all made out of wood. They're handcrafted. There's a man there that actually builds them. He's a retired cabinet maker. Shoots under the name of Yule Luz. And the carts are just amazing, and they're all different. They're all unique. His little cart had a roll-top cover on it, like a roll-top desk.
Nice.
And it's just, it was another one of the things that I see with the gun community. This is what gun owners really do, as opposed to what a lot of these gun control people want you to think, that we're all bad and we're doing this, we're doing that. These are just great people. They were having lots of fun, a really wholesome family kind of thing, and it was just really enjoyable.
Yeah,
to
this
see.
is the evil gun culture that they all talk about. What we do, at the Del Gun Show, that they were saying how they want to stop the evil culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I have yet to see.
Right,
but,
me too.
I haven't seen it, but it's like you said, and it's family. It's a family experience.
Sure is.
It is, and the number of people, and I see that, like I was saying, I shoot other action pistol matches on the weekends, and there's, like on our group, and the squad I shot with just Saturday, actually, this weekend, there's a 12-year-old boy that outshoots me pretty much every week. There's another guy that brought his son as well, who looks a little bit younger than that and is just learning. But there's men, there's women, there's kids, all ages.
You too.
I was afraid to look, so I don't know how he did.
Gotcha.
Don't you hate that?
Well, speaking of shooting, Senator, what do you shoot?
In 60 days?
Well, I'm going to be shooting a lot more in 60 days when I'm done with serving the Senate. But
yeah.
I have a Glock, and my family and I, we go out a couple times a year, and we use it for family protection, but I also just love shooting it.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful weapon, and it's an awful lot of fun. I was invited to I get invited to all sorts of events, and I didn't quite know. I thought it was a shotgun event, and I don't own a shotgun, so I didn't bring anything. And it turns out that they were shooting targets, but they were like scenarios, and you had to go through and hit certain targets at certain times and take different positions. I've never had so much fun in my life. Now that I'm back in the district, and I should be here, 5 days of the week, not just 3 days a week. I'm going to start looking for those opportunities because I'd love to get into it. I'd love to do more, and everything you're describing up in Escondido, that seems like an awful lot of fun.
And then you got to go to Wild Bill's first and get outfitted. There's a little old lady there that'll hook you
Listen,
up.
before I start wearing the boots and the hat, I'm going to make sure I hit the target. That's
what I would be like. No.
I don't want to be all hat and boots and nothing to show for it.
Well, you could ease your way in with the boots and the belt buckle. Hold off on the hat until you could actually hit something.
Oh, that's right. The hat could get in the way, huh?
It's less obvious.
Do you wear a hat? Cowboy hat?
I have to say I do occasionally because living out in Lakeside, there's times when I can fit right in with it.
Yeah, right. Otherwise, plus you'll get sunburnt, otherwise.
Well, on the first and third Sundays, what is it, USPCA?
The USPSA matches, they're up at the
right.
Paola range, up there by the casino.
Second and fourth.
And the second and fourth, I'm sorry, you're right. The second and fourth Sunday, I should know this by now. The second and fourth Saturdays are up at Paola, the USPSA matches. The first and third Saturdays, and I just say Sunday? Saturdays. These are all Saturdays.
Yep.
First and third Saturday of each month is the Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club up in Alpine, where they do the same kind of thing. It's the same action handgun match. It's scaled down a little bit. It's not quite as elaborate as Paola, but it's still a lot of fun.
You would like it.
Mostly revolvers there, too, which is fun to see.
Or you can bring your semi-auto, and all you need is just 5 magazines and a holster, and then bring the Glock, and if you're, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I think I have all those items.
Oh, there you go.
I think I may have 10 magazines.
Okay,
for
good.
It, so.
Yeah, you fit right in. That's the first and third Saturdays out there.
Absolutely.
I was out there today with the same group, except they're shooting rimfire, 22.
Oh, yeah.
So we were shooting rimfire today, and I brought a 22 rifle. That's what I was using, and but a lot of people brought their pistols, and it was, pew pew.
Did you hit anything?
Yeah, barely. Somehow fooled them all.
And again, along the lines of what gun owners really do, the next big event up there, at least that I'm involved in anyway, is in October is the Women on Target event. And it's sold out right now, the October one is, but they do this 4 times a year where they invite, and I think they limit it to 40 women, and it's aimed at women that don't have a lot of experience or no experience with firearms. And what they do is they match them up with mentors, and they break them up into 3 groups, and they'll get a chance to shoot handguns one-on-one with a mentor. They'll switch over. They'll shoot rifles one-on-one with a mentor, and then they'll shoot shotguns. So they get exposed to all that, along with the safety training and all the other stuff that goes with it. And really great event, and the people from the Lemon Grove Rod and Gun Club put those on. They do 4 of them a year up there.
All I can say is my wife is a better shooter than I am. Naturally. Here I am. I go, and all these people are giving me lessons and improving my skills. She walks out there and immediately cleans my clock.
I know. Mine did the same thing to me, too.
Yeah.
She had a grouping the size of a quarter with a 9mm, a 38, and a shotgun, and she never had any one of those 3 in her hand in her life. I said, well, that just isn't going to work.
It's a sign from God.
It must be, I'm telling you. Hey, Joel, thank you very, very much for taking time out of your Sunday and coming down.
Appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And aren't you thrilled you brought Maggie?
Boy, you're not kidding.
I'm telling you, it's tough. And of course, Mr. Drammissi, we appreciate you coming in. Wear your cowboy hat next time.
Thank you. I'll make a point of that.
Wear the boots.
Hey, folks, before we hit the road, are you beginning an intermediate or advanced pistol shooting? You want to shoot outside and have some real fun? Well, now's your chance. When? I think we just mentioned this. Every first and third Saturday of the month, 7 a.m. to noon, at Lemon Grove Gun Club in Alpine. Why? To help shooters increase their safe gun handling skills. How much is that going to cost you? Woo-hoo, $15. You're here. You hear us talk about the importance of training and having fun. And if Lance can do it, then you can too.
That's right.
Hey, call Paul Lichtenstein. He's the match director at 619-540-9600. That's 619-540-9600. And we want to thank all of our advertisers, San Diego County gun owners, the Gun Range San Diego, CAFirearmsLaw.com, FirearmsLegal.com, Trident Gunsmithing, and last but not least, Cali Key, Kalikey. And if you'd like to sponsor us or get have some questions and you need answered, info@gunsportsradio.com. And don't forget to check out our website, gunsportsradio.com as well. And I want to thank Joe Holyfield, John Dillon, Michael Schwartz, even if he is at a Packers game, and, of course, Lance Pelkey for all their support. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to hit the dusty trail here in a few. Any last parting words?
Did you put
got a minute?
Cali Key? Did you install your Cali Key yet?
I did not.
You didn't do it?
No. Needs the instructions. He hasn't got 2 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, folks. We're going to go ahead and hit the dusty trail. New show coming up next. Little Joe, the Big Show, right here on 96.1 FM, AM 1170, The Answer.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.